this. So hopefully you should see a little box that will come up that you just need to sort of click OK on. That's perfect. So I'm just going to share my screen as well. So we've got the presentation up. LaShall, would you be able to shout out if you hear the bell go that someone else is coming in so I can omit them, just in
Absolutely,
case I don't
yes.
see it?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So can you see the screen okay?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so we'll kick off. So bear with me. So just in case you're watching this on the replay, so hello everyone. Welcome to our Operations and Marketing Masterclass, and it's co-hosted by myself, Sarah from We Love PMO, and LaShall from Dedicated Virtual Professional Services. And this masterclass is a really sort of in-depth, and it's all about aligning your operations and marketing. Have a look at sort of impactful business growth, and that's regardless whether you're an entrepreneur launching a brand new venture or you're a seasoned pro revisiting those sort of core strategies. So this masterclass is all about providing you valuable insight into how to optimize your business fundamentals. And it's going to draw from both of our past experiences in undertaking audits, and we're going to be revealing the top operational and marketing mistakes that hinder growth and share those practical solutions to you. So we're going to kick off looking at business operations. But before I get into that, I'm just going to introduce myself. So my name is Sarah, and I'm the owner of We Love PMO. And my approach to sort of PMO, project, risk, and business management is underpinned by a wealth of expertise. So over a decade experience in this area and commitment to industry leading best practices. And my passion really lies in transforming that world of business and risk and project management from that really sort of perceived labyrinth of complexities to a really fun, exhilarating journey of empowerment. And I believe that everyone has that potential to not understand how business sort of management happens and works, but to embrace them as well with enthusiasm and confidence. So for the first part of this, as I said, is going to be looking at the business operations side. And I'm going to be talking about the top five operational mistakes that I've uncovered frequently when I undertake business audits. But before I go into that, I'm just going to start with the question of like, what exactly is a business audit and why does it matter so much? So, a business audit is something that's really comprehensive and it's a systematic review of all your business operations, your processes, and strategies. And it's a bit like a health check for your business. So, just like how you would go to a doctor to understand your physical health, the business audit helps you understand your business's operational health. So, it gives you an insight into what's working well and, more importantly, where some of those gaps might be. And why we actually conduct these types of audits, it helps us to identify three key things. And one of them is to uncover inefficiencies. So it reveals areas where resources that you may have are maybe being wasted, or maybe perhaps processes that you have aren't streamlined. So it's a way that you can have a look at saving you money, time as well. It also helps you to identify risks. So audits help highlight potential risks that could disrupt your operations, and that could be anything from a financial risk to operational. By addressing them up front, it helps to create a more resilient business. And the third is just making sure that your business operations is in alignment with your actual strategy. So it ensures that your day-to-day activities that you're taking are aligned with your long-term goals. So it means that every resource, any projects that you have, and the tasks that you're working on, you're able to sort of align them. Hi, Dido. We're just sort of just kicking off. So I'm going to start talking through five common mistakes that I see time to time each time I do these business audits. So the first one is that lack of clear strategic alignment. And this is one of the most common and impactful ones that I come across when I do these business audits. And when day-to-day sort of operations don't align with your business's larger strategic goals, it's like you're trying to drive in completely different directions at the same time. And you might not be using your resources in the right way. You're kind of misusing them. And if you are a larger business and you may have teams, you may find that they all have conflicting objectives, and overall, the efficiency tends to suffer. So, what does it look like in regards to misalignment? So some red flags are if you are working in a bigger organization or business and you've got some teams, you may find that they're working in silos, so which can lead to duplication of efforts and missed opportunities. You may have a backlog of sort of key work streams or key projects which are not been prioritized, and your resources may be stretched thin across those different pieces of work. So we can fix this by taking some really powerful steps to
Mm.
help you get back on track. So things that you can do is you can document those strategic objectives. So making sure that your strategic objectives are clearly documented. Even if you're a solopreneur or you're working in a business where you have different members within that, think of these objectives as your business's North Star and making sure that everybody understands what they are and how the work that they undertake or the work that you undertake contributes to that overall sort of mission. And the second thing I would say to introduce in regards to this mistake is just making sure you've got like a quarterly review in place because our businesses they evolve with time and staying aligned requires you checking in, whether that's just checking in on yourself or checking in with a team if you have one in place. And it gives you a chance to recalibrate, address any shifts in that priorities that you've got, and to confirm that the resources that you do have are focused on those high impact areas. The second mistake that I see often, and it may seem like a really, really small one, but it can have such a significant impact, and that's inadequate process documentation. And without that clear documentation, things can become really inconsistent quickly. So, for instance, imagine that you're trying to bake a cake without a recipe, and every time you bake this particular cake, it's going to turn out completely different. Sometimes it could come out fantastic, sometimes it could be an absolute disaster. And in a business, that variability can cause us real problems. So some telltale signs of what does poor documentation look like? There's that variability in the quality. So when you don't have your processes documented, even if it's just documented for yourself that you can come back to, the quality of your product or service that you're offering can really have an impact. And that inconsistency will lead to dissatisfied customers and also a lack of trust in your brand. Another flag that comes up is that you'll have high error rates and a lot of time spent on corrections because you don't have a standardized approach in place. So those mistakes become more frequent and you end up spending precious time correcting those errors when they could have been prevented. So what we can do to address this is to develop SOPs, and SOPs are standard operating procedures. They're detailed guides that you can have that will help you complete essential tasks consistently. So you're documenting all the steps that you would normally take within the key processes of your business. Even a basic checklist can reduce those errors, and it makes sure that you're always following the same steps. And if you have additional team members, that they're following the same steps as well. The third mistake that I see quite often, I'm very, very passionate about risk management, is insufficient risk management. It's something that is a real common gap when I undertake these types of audits. And it's something that is so critical because without a proactive approach to managing risks, a business is highly vulnerable to unexpected disruptions, financial loss, or productivity setbacks. So how would you know if you have a weak risk management in place? So some red flags with that would be that potentially that you're in constant crisis mode. You're constantly reacting to problems instead of planning ahead, or you don't have any contingency plans in place. So there's no backup plan if a supplier fails or a key piece of your equipment fails. There's no safety net. Or you may have recurring issues that stop your service or your products from being out there. Um, and if this sounds familiar, like the things that you could do to strengthen that sort of risk management is to implement a structured approach. So sitting down, just identifying some really key risks, and prioritizing where your efforts are going to be, and also developing a risk register so you can keep track of what those risks are and how you're going to overcome them. Now, a real critical message that I want to get across to any business owners sort of listening to this, whether you're a solo entrepreneur or you're in a business that has a number of different members of staff, if you do you have a risk management strategy and do you have a risk register? Because if you don't, your business could be in immediate danger. Because if your business is fortified against uncertainties and you're confident in navigating challenge and you have that resilience, a proactive risk strategy can turn your business into stability. But without a robust risk process or register in place, you're no longer leaving your business. Um, if you have that in place, you're not leaving your business wide open to those financial pitfalls or potential compliance issues or tax issues or any sort of disruptions. So without that structure, your business is at that mercy of unforeseen events. So it's something that's really, really critical to have in place. The fourth one that I come across a lot is people using really over complex or poorly integrated systems. So tools are too complicated that they've got, or they don't sync well with other platforms, and they're finding it difficult to adopt or to track tasks or to meet deadlines. And you'll find that there's there's low engagement. So if you do have a team that's working with a project with you, and perhaps you're doing a product launch, for example, and there's just that low take up of the tool itself, and you'll start to see that some deadlines and milestones get missed. So they're not able to track or manage them. So to sort of address this is it's just because you want to have a tool in place, it doesn't have to be a gold standard, just a spreadsheet will do to begin with. Because when we start to have those complex systems in place, it becomes all about the system and not actually about the business and the processes, and people get really caught up within that. So start small
Mhm.
and then build upon that. And then the fifth one I was going to talk about is just the lack of performance metrics and KPIs, so key performance indicators. And without having those, it's really difficult for people to gauge their performance and monitor how productive they're being. So it makes it difficult for business owners to see if they're truly moving that needle in regards to progress. So signs that you're missing those metrics could be that it's really difficult for you to sort of note down what the successes are, because you're not able to evidence it, or you may have limited visibility into the productivity. So starting off with maybe just like two or three sort of essential metrics would be really helpful and make sure that they're aligned to your business goal. And then just setting yourself up like a dashboard. And you could do that just in an Excel spreadsheet or Asana. There's a number of different tools that you can use for free. So you can keep yourself on track to make sure that you are delivering in those different areas. So that I was just talking very much on businesses as a whole there, talking from sort of perhaps businesses that are owned by individuals, but also bigger businesses as well. But these next five, I'm just focusing purely on solopreneurs. So this is kind of running a business on your own brings a complete unique set of challenges. And when you're managing af every aspect, it's easy to overlook those critical areas that could ultimately affect your growth and efficiency. So when I undertake these types of business audits with solo entrepreneurs, one of the top things that sort of comes up is that they're wearing too many hats without prioritizing those tasks. And it's really common for, like I said, for solopreneurs and small business owners to sort of juggle multiple roles, anything from marketing to client services to administration, their finances. And without having that strategic approach into how they're going to prioritize their tasks, you can become very, very overwhelmed with it. So some sort of signs that you might have to sort of show that you're struggling with that. You could be feeling like you're constantly chasing your tail and you're behind and those important tasks are piling up. Um, there could be inconsistent focus on the growth activities that you're wanting to do and sort of feeling quite low energy and sort of burnout because you're managing so many different aspects of it. It can be quite draining and impact your productivity. So some strategies that you can do as a sort of an independent business owner is you can list down those prioritization tasks and rank them based on impact and deadline and identify which ones are essential for you to actually grow. And then you can set aside the other ones and come back to them at a later date. Also, you can have a look at if there's any possibility to outsource or delegate the low impact tasks, those routine tasks, things like data entry or minor admin that might not require your expertise. And outsourcing those responsibilities frees up your time and effort to focus on those high impact activities. So the takeaway from this is to be intentional with your time and prioritizing your task and delegating where possible so you can better manage your responsibilities and prevent burnout and keep your business on a steady growth path. The second one is sort of having a look at neglecting regular performance reviews. So it's another common issue is not having goals in place, and there's not a structured place for that, and that can really have an impact in regards to missing out on growth opportunities. Um, so we've talked through about KPIs already and sort of how to track it. So one thing I would say here is just really focus on SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, really specific goals that are realistic and getting those small wins that can then build up to those bigger outcomes that you're trying to work for. The third one that I see a lot with working with individuals is inconsistent branding and messaging. So developing a strong, recognizable brand identity is essential, but can be so challenging to maintain that consistency across different platforms. And when that branding is inconsistent, it can create confusion, dilute your message, and make it really hard to attract or keep a loyal audience. So some signs of inconsistent branding is you're using different colors, different fonts, or even different logos across your different platforms. There's mixed messaging, so it's really difficult to convey your voice and your values and your purpose. And this has an impact on attracting or retaining your ideal audience. So to address this, I would recommend starting with a brand guide. So document what your brand colors are, your fonts, your logo usage, what are your key messaging points. And you don't have to overcomplicate it, but you can use that as a clear reference for your brand's identity. And then apply that guide consistency for every social media post, every email, any product packaging that you might use. So then it's in alignment with your guide. And that impact of consistent branding is huge because it helps you to build credibility, it helps your brand become memorable, and it makes you stand out in a crowded market. Fourth one is not setting boundaries with clients. So quite often we feel pressure to over accommodate clients when we're solopreneurs, and that can lead to scope creep. We end up working unpaid extra hours and eventually to burnout. So the solution for this is to define and drill down that scope right at the beginning with the client and the rates up front, and having that captured in your contracts and your terms of reference with them, and clearly communicate that before you start working and just practice in enforcing those boundaries, just maintaining that sustainable workload for yourself, and it helps with your productivity and it also protects your well-being as well. Because it's so easy when we're starting off to sort of you want to do good and get those first clients on board, but then you end up working extra hours just so that you can get those testimonials. But there's better ways to sort of go about that. And the fifth thing that I see that comes up a lot when I do these audits, which is the final one I'm going to talk about, is that lack of understanding of financial forecasting and budgeting. So it's really easy to get really down, focused on delivering your product or service, and overlook the financial planning, especially when your time and resources are really limited. And without a clear budget and a clear forecast, it becomes really challenging to manage that cash flow, how you're going to plan for growth, or even assess the financial health of your business. So, operating without a set budget for monthly expenses or business investments is a clear sign that there's a gap there within that financial sort of knowledge. Struggling to manage cash flow or planning for the future because you've got unpredictable income and expenses. So to address this, I would really recommend right at the beginning, if you're at the beginning of your journey, or even if you've had a business running for several years now, is to make sure that you're using financial tracking tools. And you can start really small with just a simple Excel spreadsheet, or you can use QuickBooks to help you track those income and expenses. So it provides visibility to you where your money's going. and then creating a cash flow forecast. So mapping out your expected income and expenses for the next few months. And this gives you a better view of your finances and it helps you anticipate any cash flow gaps. So that impact of having a clear budget and forecast is really significant because it will bring you stability and it will support you in making better decisions and help prepare you for a future of growth. So you're not only protecting your business, but you're setting yourself up for sustainable success. So they are all from doing many, many different audits. They are some of the most common sort of mistakes and gaps that I've come across from undertaking those. So I'm going to hand over to LaShall now because I've talked very much about business operations, and LaShall's going to talk about marketing.
So hi, everyone, and welcome. In today's marketing presentation, we're going to focus on ad strategy, but just know that these same principles can be applied and used in any marketing strategies as the same underlying principles apply. I'm so excited to have you here because if you're ready to stop wasting money and start seeing results, then you're in the right place. So my name's LaShall Dodson, a Facebook and Instagram ad strategist, a wife, a mother of 2 sons, and I love watching baseball, especially watching my sons play baseball. With a rich background in the corporate sector, I decided to pivot on a career where my skills, knowledge, and passion could make a more direct impact. Known for talent in dissecting complex business problems and implementing effective solutions, I now specialize as an ad strategist. In this role, I partner with business owners to develop and execute strategic advertising campaigns that align with their unique objectives. My approach combines analytical knowledge with creative insights, ensuring that each campaign is not only well targeted, but also maximizes ROI by translating business needs into actionable and ad strategies. I help drive growth and achieve measurable success for my clients. So let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever run a Facebook or Instagram ad campaign and then watched it just flop? Drop a comment in the chat and let us know. So trust me, I've been there too. I've seen ads go from 0 to hero, and I've seen campaigns crash and burn because of some simple mistakes that could have been avoided. And that's exactly why we're here today. So whether you're a beginner, a seasoned marketer, or an entrepreneur just trying to figure out how to unlock the true power of Facebook and Instagram ads, this masterclass is for you. So here's the thing. I've audited many Facebook and Instagram ads accounts. And let me tell you, I've seen it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly. From wasted budgets to misaligned targeting, underperforming creatives, and tracking nightmares. I'm here to give you the tools, the knowledge, and the game-changing strategies to fix those mistakes immediately. By the end of the masterclass, you're going to walk away with actionable steps that will instantly improve your ad performance and get you on the path to consistent growth and real results. So get ready. I'm going to walk you through the 12 biggest mistakes that I see over and over again. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to fix them. No fluff, no nonsense, just straight up powerful strategies that you can start using today to take control of your ad campaigns. All right, so the first mistake I see is that people don't have a clearly defined goal for their campaign. So I like to start backwards and determine your long-term goal. What is that? Is that a lead, sales, awareness? What is it that you really want to accomplish? And what needs to be done immediately to reach that goal? Then you back into what are the sub goals to accomplish that? So for example, this could mean sales is the ultimate goal, and the secondary goal would be your brand awareness or foot traffic, a coupon, or maybe a special that you want to run. It's important to understand this because you may need to run multiple campaigns. Or your ultimate goal is sales, but to get where they need to register for a masterclass, which is a lead. So those are really two different campaigns. You would run a lead campaign and a sales campaign, both of which look different. So really understanding your objectives is key. The second mistake I see is not being specific enough when determining who your target audience is. Think about specific people you want to reach. Spending time to audience mine is key and a big piece that people overlook or move too fast through. You want to make sure you are reaching the target market by looking at more than just location, gender, and age. I have a whole process for finding the right audience to run ads. There are several different ways to do this. You can create custom audiences, lookalike audiences. There's so much that can be done to really zone in and market to your target audience. Audience selection is one of the most critical elements for campaign success. However, many advertisers struggle with audience targeting, which can lead to poor performance, wasted budget, or missed opportunities. Here are some common issues I see with audience selection and Meta Ads platform. Overly broad or too narrow targeting, ignoring lookalike audiences, not using layered targeting, not considering location properly, failing to exclude irrelevant audiences, not testing and refining your audiences, underestimating the power of demographics, not using engagement custom audiences, misunderstanding audience overlap, lack of dynamic audience creation, and not monitoring and adjusting audience performance. So then that leads into the third thing, right, which is market research. That's understanding what your ideal client's pain points are, what types of challenges they face, and what are their goals. So you're going to need to position yourself in the market. So what is your unique value proposition? For example, mine is I'm an online business manager, which helps people in their business with strategy, management, delegation, and I also run Facebook and Instagram ads. So I truly understand your business first, and then I market your ads to your business. So what is it that you can offer that makes you stand out? It's crucial to gather accurate insights to inform your targeting, your creative strategies, and your campaign decisions. And unfortunately, many marketers make mistakes or overlook key elements during that research project, which can lead to poorly executed campaigns. So some of the common issues that I see when I conduct market research is I see a lack of clear research objectives, relying too much on assumptions, not utilizing a mix of research methods, ignoring qualitative data, overlooking competitive analysis, failure to segment the audience properly. People are not validating their research findings. They're just kind of taking what they see out there and going with it. They're ignoring customer feedback. They have an inadequate use of data analytics, or they're using outdated or inaccurate data. They're misunderstanding data that they're collecting from social media. And I think one of the big ones is they're overlooking the buyer's journey. They're not identifying key market trends, and they're failing to track long-term brand health and ignoring behavioral and purchase intent data. The key to remember is to collect the data, do the research, and then you have to apply it. The fourth mistake I see is not ensuring proper tracking and KPIs. So KPIs are key performance indicators, as Sarah mentioned. Do you have a Facebook pixel set up and firing correctly? And are you tracking the proper things on your website, like your landing pages, the buttons that people are clicking on? There's all different kinds of things that you need to basically attach that Facebook pixel to. Also, do you have conversion API set up? Is your business manager set up properly? You will also need to determine what key performance indicators you want to measure that is relevant, and relevant's the key word here, relevant to the campaign objective. So is that ROAS, which is return on ad spend, or click-through rate, or unique touch points? You know, what are you trying to accomplish? And that kind of backs into that goal we set originally back in step one. Checking your performance weekly is key. And so many times I see people just set it and forget it. Without accurate tracking, you can't make informed decisions about what's working and what isn't, or how to allocate your budget effectively. Use Facebook Ads Manager and custom reporting features to analyze performance because there's really good data in there. With proper tracking in place, you'll be able to measure the effectiveness of your campaigns, make data-driven decisions, and maximize your ROI. So the fifth thing I see people make mistakes on is when it comes to ad formats and placement. With placement, you want to choose where your audience hangs out. Most of the time when I run ads for someone, I run them on Facebook and Instagram because people are usually on both platforms. You might have a little bit more on one than the other, but you really want to cross-pollinate. Then you must determine what kind of ad to run, a carousel, video ad, or single image. If you're trying to showcase multiple products or services, you may want a carousel ad. Video ads are good for brand awareness and storytelling. For placement, I always select manual placement, and I choose my platform and my audiences. I don't recommend letting Meta decide because the algorithm could take you in a different direction and take you to a different target audience. For example, an audience of freebie seekers instead of an audience of prospective buyers. So number six is not investing in your copy and creative. So do you have a clear value proposition? And is it clearly communicated? You want to capture the audience's attention and get them to stop long enough to read your pitch. That's the first thing you need to accomplish. Then you must have a call to action. If you don't have a call to action, it's not even worth running an ad. That means, what do you want the person reading to do? So you've got them to stop, right? Step one. Now, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to DM you? Do you want them to download something, sign up, make a purchase? You must call that out in your ad and guide them on how to get to that next step. Having catchy images or videos is critical to get people to stop for just that second. And then your hook, which is your basically your tagline, the first line they're going to read, and your copy needs to be engaging enough to pull them in and have them want to keep reading to get to that call to action. Number 7 is your budget. So you need to define your overall ad spend budget for the month, the launch, or the year, whatever the situation is that you're currently doing. Then you want to back it down from, say, launch to month, week, and then day. So for example, if you have a launch that's over 3 months, you want to back your numbers. If you have a total budget of, say, $5,000, you want to divide that by the number of months that you need to do your launch. And you have to consider pre-launch date time as well. Okay, so you divide your number out by your month, then you're going to divide it out by a week, and then by day. You want to get to that daily number. I do not recommend setting a lifetime budget. Let me say that again. Do not set a lifetime budget. I set daily budgets at the ad set level. Otherwise, all your budget can be used up in a week if you are allowing Meta to decide just by selecting lifetime. Believe me, I've seen this mistake where someone's lifetime budget, which could be for a 3-month campaign, is used up in 10 days because of how that campaign was set up originally. Number 8 is scheduling your campaign is such an important piece of the puzzle. And I see people set this up quickly, not selecting certain things or allowing Meta to use discretion. You want to be in charge of how you set things up and how your money is spent. Determine your optimal start time and end time, making sure these dates line up with the goal that you have. Remember your ultimate goal and your launch dates, your pre-launch dates, and your sale. So like if it's a Black Friday sale, right, your dates have to coincide with running up before to prime your audience before that sale, and then during that sale period, and then you have like a week or so of post-sale. Do you want your ads to run daily or on specific defined dates? If you set everything up manually, you have the power to select these things. You can also set the time of day you want your ads to start running. You want to make sure that you're looking at the time zone of where your audience is located, so that your audience may not be located where you are, because we're in a virtual world these days. So it may not be your time zone, but it's the time zone of your audience. And number 9, ad policy guidelines. Many times I see people who are not familiar with ad policy, and they run ads that violate these policies. You want to review what's considered restricted content, prohibited content, and what are the specific guidelines. You can't use discriminatory posts or posts that show hate or violence or harassment. It is good practice to familiarize yourself with these policies before you start running ads. So number 10 is to submit your ad for approval. So all ads need to be reviewed prior to Meta allowing them to run. And this will take some time, so plan ahead. And that's kind of the mistake people make. I recommend you submit one ad at a time so you can track any changes needed. If Meta does not approve an ad, it will explain why, and then you need to correct it and you can resubmit it. You can resubmit it multiple times. So the key here is if you want to start a campaign tomorrow, don't wait until today to submit your ads for approval because it could take some time to get that approval. Number 11, testing and optimization. So many times I see people create ads and then not look back for 30 days. So you really want to test your ads for 7 days to really understand what is working. If you find something not performing well, then just change one thing at a time and test for another 7 days. So don't just go in and change the copy, the creative, the hook all at once, or you'll have no way of knowing what works and what doesn't. Also, you want to review weekly so you can optimize and tweak anything you notice for better performance. And number 12 is post-campaign analysis. So after 30 days, I recommend you analyze the overall performance. And then you want to do that again at the end of your official campaign. So if it's a 6-month campaign, you want to do that again at 6 months. But I recommend you do that every 30 days. So many people don't look at this. It's a big mistake. They don't look at all the insights that this provides. You can literally go into Ad Manager and see all kinds of results and metrics, and it is overwhelming. And that's why people don't do it, right? There's so much information there. But it's important information and it can help you improve your campaign. What worked really well and what didn't work for the next month or the next launch or the next campaign. It's all learning lessons. Did you meet your ultimate goal? That's one of the things that you need to check for each time you run a campaign. Many people don't understand the metrics provided, but it gives you valuable insight on how you can improve and boost your ad performance. And if something is not working for you, did you meet your goal? You now have the strategy and insights for that next campaign. So as you can see, there's a lot that goes into making a successful ad campaign. So now let's look at your business, right? So before ad strategy, you are overwhelmed with Facebook Business Manager. Most everyone is. There's a lot of information in there and it is overwhelming. You are frustrated with poor ad results and wasted budget. You're struggling to turn engagement and impressions into sales because believe me, they're not the same thing. An impression is just somebody looking at your stuff. They are not buying your stuff. Unsure how to reach, and people are unsure how to reach your ideal audience. And that's where that audience mining comes in. So after working with an ad strategist, what you're going to see the turnaround in your business is that the business manager is set up properly. You're getting consistent, high quality leads. You're confident in understanding your ad metrics, and you're connected with your audience and watching your revenue grow. Running Facebook and Instagram ads can be overwhelming. Between setting up campaigns, targeting the right audience, creating effective ads, and tracking performance, it's easy to feel lost in the weeds. The truth is, most businesses struggle with Facebook ads because they don't have a clear strategic plan in place. But what if you could skip the confusion and fast track your way to profitable campaigns? So what you truly want. We know that you want consistent leads, you want ideal clients, you want to not be overwhelmed, you want ads that work all the time, you don't want any more guesswork, you don't want to have to try to figure out what works and waste your time. You want scalable, predictable results. You want to reach that target audience of buyers, not freebie seekers. You want to be able to look at your performance and understand it. You want to scale your business. You want everything set up properly, and you want to free up your valuable time with a custom strategy and ongoing support. So what you will master with ad strategy is identify and reach your ideal client, professionally designed ads. You'll maximize your return on ad dollars spent and understand what is working and, more importantly, what is not working. Whether you are new to marketing or looking to elevate your existing campaigns. We hope this information delivers powerful insights and proven techniques to optimize your ad performance. It's all about learning how to leverage data-driven strategies, craft compelling ad creatives, and fine-tune your approach for tangible, transformative results with expert tips and practical advice. You'll be equipped to drive impactful changes and see real improvements in your ad performance. So now we'd like to take a few minutes and talk to you about how we can help you with audit and VIP days. So, what does a VIP day look like for ads? So, we offer an audit or a full VIP experience. So, you're going to see two different options here as Sarah and I kind of talk through all this. The audit is a half a day for ads with a 1 hour strategy call where we map out a plan, your campaign, your goal, your objective, your budget. We analyze your assets. We audience mine for you, placement and strategy. So we're giving you basically that whole campaign. You'll receive that mapped out plan and you'll have us to bounce questions off of for guidance. We'll then do another 1 hour strategy call to kind of go over this plan with you and hand it off. So we can do this for existing people who are running existing ads by doing it in the form of auditing what you currently have out there. So we can audit and create new. Or for somebody who's never started to run ads before, we can create this plan for you from the beginning. So this is a plan that we'll hand back to you to take action on. This is more like the DIY package with some support. Or you have the full day VIP experience where there's a pre-call prior to the VIP day to discuss your assets, the strategy, and what we want to accomplish and what we need access to. Then on the VIP day, I map out that same plan, right? That same campaign, the goal, objective, the budget, analyze your assets, your audience mining, your placement, and your strategy. I then give you that same plan that same day for your approval. And I go in, I set up the back end for you of Business Manager and Ads Manager. I create one campaign, I create an ad set and 2 ads. I get them approved by Facebook, and we hold a final handoff call with you. And then your ads are all set up and ready to roll. So that's kind of what a VIP day, our 2 options for VIP days look like for ads.
And then from an operations sort of aspect, so your business operations, so you have the business operations audit. So that will start off with a 1 hour strategy call. So we'll start with focus call, discuss what your goals and challenges are within your business. And this audit's really perfect for business owners that are looking to get a clear view of how things are operating in there and actionable steps that they can optimize. You'll have a comprehensive assessment. So I'll do a deep dive evaluation of your business, having a look at all your workflows, how tasks are being managed, how you got any tracking systems in place. And then we'll do a bit of strengths identification. So I'll pinpoint your top 3 strengths in your business operations and what's really driving that success, but then also having a look at the challenge areas. So I'll do a challenge analysis to see what's affecting your productivity and efficiency. And you will then receive a high level strategy with an action plan, which sort of maps out the areas that you can optimize where things are doing well, but also having a look at the insight of the pain points, what's hindering your business from growing and scaling, and what you can do in regards to overcoming that. And then from a 4 day VIP experience, so again, there would be a strategy call that's involved. We'll recap the findings from the initial audit. We'll set objectives. We'll have a look, and depending on what your business is, so some of these things are tailorable. So that would depend on where the focus is. So it could be that perhaps SOPs, you don't have the SOPs in place, or you don't have proper workflows, or perhaps you need to streamline those workflows. Perhaps you want a risk management process in place, or perhaps you're looking at having some software set up. Perhaps it's Kajabi, Learn Worlds, and you're wanting a course or a product that's going to run off some sort of software, but you need that help in getting that set up so it's all streamlined. And at the end of the day, we'll review everything. You'll have an implementation plan, and then there'll be a 30 to 60-day action plan to maintain that momentum. So it's a really powerful sort of solution for business owners that want to go all in to sort of like kickstart perhaps a business that they're just about to launch, or perhaps a business that's already up and running and they want to transform their operations. So it's a hands-on implementation in an intensive way. So it's there to help you become efficient and scale your business.
So we are so excited to share this combined VIP experience with you. So what does this look like as a combined VIP day? So you can purchase the VIP audit package, which is a half day of operations and a half day of marketing. You get the best of both worlds in a budget-friendly DIY package. You'll receive strategy calls and documentation giving you feedback on things that you can do to optimize and update. We'll give you a quality, actionable plan for both operations and marketing. This package is good for the DIY person who likes to get their hands in the weeds but needs some guidance and some strategy, or for the business owner that has things running but knows they need just a little bit of tweaking to optimize performance. This business owner is also just a little bit tech savvy. This package starts at $1,500 and is a great way to get started. Then we have the full VIP experience. This is actually 2 full days of high-level, hands-on experience designed to get results fast. 1 day of operations and 1 day of marketing. Imagine in 1 day fixing your operational and marketing problems. This is the time-saving package for business owners. In this experience, we actually do the work for you to set you up for maximum success. It's really more than 2 days because prior to starting, we will have a pre-VIP call to go over systems, platforms, tools, and let you know what we need access to. Then you'll have 2 different strategy calls, one for operations and one to see what you want to get accomplished with operations and one for what you want to do with marketing. After that, we get to work and start doing all the work we discussed and agreed on, all while you go about your day. Then we will have another call for both operations and marketing to provide a handoff and go over what was accomplished. This package really allows you to get 2 times the work done in 1 day. Depending on the amount of work, more than 1 day may be needed and would be discussed in our discovery call. The VIP experience is really great for anyone who's overwhelmed in their business and does not have the time to do these things, or for someone who has tried these things on their own and is just struggling to maximize. Or for the person who says, yes, I want my operations and marketing streamlined and I have no idea where to start. So this package runs between $3,000 and $5,000. And the good news is both packages will be customized to your business and the immediate goals you want to accomplish. Both packages are perfect for busy entrepreneurs, business owners, or marketers who want to complete work with expert guidance and execution all in 1 day. After the webinar, later today or tomorrow, you will receive an email with a replay link of this webinar and all the details to sign up for a VIP day, including the calendar link to schedule your first call, where we'll customize a package for you. So that first call is going to be kind of us talking with you. What state is your business in? We're going to try to get some information out of you of what your goals are. What is it you want to accomplish? We'll do all that in that first call. And then from there, we'll go ahead and schedule the VIP day and outline all of the steps moving forward with you. If you know, if you know you're ready and want to book one of our limited spots this year, before that email goes out to everyone, you can email one or both of us. We're dropping our email in the chat as well as on the next screen. This will allow you to have preferred scheduling selection to ensure your work gets accomplished before the holidays, which will then set your business up for a fresh start in 2025. So thank you for hanging out with us today to learn more about the mistakes we see people make in operations and marketing. We hope you can walk away with some valuable insights. Do you have any questions?
Hmm, I don't think
So,
so.
Sarah, it looks
No.
like we had some that came in from people who pre-registered. Um, so, Sarah, how often should project health audits be conducted during a project lifecycle?
Okay. So yeah, the frequency of sort of doing those health audits, it really depends on the complexity of it. So as a general rule, it's probably best to sort of do it at key milestones. So if you're doing a new product launch, for example, or new service rollout throughout the key sort of points of that life cycle, whether it's right at the beginning, so when you're sort of planning and scoping, once it's that pre-implementation stage, so like at those key points. So midway through is really helpful too. That's to check if everything's still aligned with the original plan. And then also the final audit's really good when you're near completion, because then you can check if all the deliverables are on track and if everything has met the quality and client standards that were set out. Um, so yeah, that I would say at the key sort of milestones, depending on whether it's a project itself or if we're talking about a product that you're launching.
Awesome, awesome. And it looks like we had a question in the chat that says, if I do a VIP day but need more help after that, are you available? And yeah, I would say the answer to that is yes. We're always available for questions. We're not going to leave you hanging with your VIP day. You're going to have an actionable plan. You're going to have our contact information to help answer any questions. And then if you need ongoing support, we can also set up some type of monthly retainer package for you to have constant support from us on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, and from an operations perspective as well. So if you're going with the full VIP package, that action plan that you get with that implementation plan, that's covering you for 30 to 60 days. So there would still be that support there if you need to sort of check in and double check stuff. So we're not going to leave you high and dry at all.
Awesome, awesome. And then, Sarah, here's another one that came in. What are some small, immediate changes business owners can make to improve their operations and their risk management process?
Okay, so there are several like small practical changes that business owners can implement right away to boost their operational efficiency and strengthen that risk management. And first is standardizing that process. That's a really quick win. So looking at the core tasks that you handle every day and documenting those processes down. And that's ensuring that you still fully understand what the steps are, but also if you have an extended team within your business, everyone understands it. And doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be a simple checklist because that goes a really long way to reduce errors and speed up training. And on the risk management side, a real quick way to gain control is just conducting a really basic risk assessment. So just identifying those top three, maybe five risks that could disrupt your business. Thinking about the sort of worst case sort of scenario, what could be the worst thing that happened, work backward from there and sort of put some mitigations in place. And those sort of things could be anything from maybe supply chain issues to cybersecurity threats, for example. So it doesn't have to be an exhaustive sort of analysis, but just having a really basic plan in place with like really robust sort of mitigation plans just gives you a stronger foundation to manage any unexpected issues that may pop up.
Awesome, awesome. And then we had another question. When it comes to Facebook and Instagram ads, what is the difference between running ads and boosting a post? So that's a really good question because I'm going to start off by saying never boost a post. Never, never boost a post. So boosting posts on Facebook's just a button you can hit. Excuse me, you'll get limited options of things that you can do or target information you can give Meta to use in spending your money to boost that post. It basically uses its own algorithm in a boost and decides where it wants to put your money and who it wants to show your ad to. I have not seen good results with boosting posts. I have not had clients who have seen good results with boosting posts. I recommend run ads because within ads, you can define all the parameters, your target audience, and exactly who gets to see that post. And you know that your money is at least being spent on the target audience that you want to see that ad versus a boost.
LaShall, from like a marketing perspective, then what factors do you think should be sort of considered during that planning phase to ensure, if you are doing a launch, how that lands and resonates with like that right target audience?
Yeah, you really need to have a deep understanding of the target audience. You also need to have a clear selling proposition, right? So that has to be key in your ad and proper timing. So where your clients hang out, use this, you want to use the placement feature for that, right? And proper timing is like, for example, I wouldn't launch an ad for the first time on Christmas Day, right? It's just not a smart business move. So you've got to know, you got to look at the calendar. You've got to kind of plan ahead when it comes to your ads. Um, Pre-launch testing for messages. There's so many ways you can do pre-launch testing, right? You can do surveys, you can post stuff organically on social media. You can kind of test anything that you want to run in an ad. You can test that and do that all different ways. One, to find out who your ideal audience is, and two, to see what's working and what's not going to work.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you very much for coming along to the masterclass. It's really lovely to see you. As Lachelle said, we'll be sharing out the replay. Those that are watching it on the replay as well, we'll send you out the details in regards to the different packages. I'll just check one more time. Has anyone else got any other questions or anything before I bring it to a close? And I'll just stop sharing my screen a second so I can see everybody. No, brilliant. Okay, well, thank you so much. No problem, Dido. Thank you so much. I'm glad you found that helpful. And yeah, it was lovely to meet you both. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks.
And yeah, keep an eye out for the email in due course.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. All
Thank
right.
you. Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.